Are seconds away from the top of the hour when the next federal execution is set to take place. These executions resumed last month after a 17-year-long break. Terre Haute is home to the only active federal death chamber. Our Rondrell Moore is live at the federal prison in Terre Haute right now. He updates us on what he's seeing and what's ahead for the evening. Rondrell?
That's right, Patrice. As you just mentioned, we are just moments away from the scheduled execution time, 6 o'clock, for Lezmond Mitchell. Now, he is the only Native American that is on death row. Let's give you a little bit of the background. Several Native Americans asked the president for clemency in this case. Just yesterday, Mitchell filed a lawsuit asking a judge to halt the execution until that clemency request was properly considered. Well, in 2003, we can tell you that a jury convicted him of killing a woman and her 9-year-old granddaughter. The Department of Justice says Mitchell and an accomplice stabbed the woman 33 times. Then Mitchell slit the girl's throat and crushed her head with rocks. Mitchell and his accomplice then severed their heads and hands of the two victims. Now, we do want to tell you about that appeal that was filed. A judge denied that appeal earlier today. So, again, that execution is scheduled for 6 o'clock tonight. Houston Sarah Lehman is a media witness in that execution. The moment that we get notification from her, we will report that the execution has been carried out. I'm going to step to my right just a little bit, and I'm going to let Tony Castacia show. There is a protesting ceremony that is happening right now. Houston's Dominic Miranda has been talking with protesters all day long. He's going to give you some background on what's happening right now and what happened earlier today. Dominic?
Rondrell, I'm not far from you. I'm here at the intersection of Spring Hill Drive and Prairieton Road, just across the street from the Terre Haute Federal Penitentiary. This is where those lobbying against the death penalty, as you can see them gathered here behind me, have gathered to protest the pending death of Lezmond Mitchell at the hands of the federal government. Now, justice promoter from the Sisters of Providence, Sister Barbara Batista, says she knows that their message is being heard. Protesters have gathered here outside the Terre Haute Federal Penitentiary since about 4:30 this afternoon. They lined the street with signs advocating against the death penalty. Sister Batista says they have nearly 200 organizations who have signed a letter to Congress. This is advocating for an end to the death penalty and an investigation into what she calls the unequal application of the death penalty. Now, just about 15 minutes ago, and it's continuing right now, the protesters switched their tone. Sister Batista tells me it's taking on more of a vigil presence, and that's why they're gathered here right now, and they're praying for the victim's family and Lezmond Mitchell's family. She says this is important to recognize the magnitude of what's happening.
Today is just sadness on top of sadness, because here we go again, putting all kinds of people at risk because of the coronavirus pandemic while we're executing someone because he killed someone. I'm very sad.
Now you can hear right behind me right now, the bell is ringing. Now this is marking the confirmation of the death of Lezmond Mitchell. And protesters told me this bell is in remembrance of him, his family, and the victim's family of what Sister Batista calls a very sad day. Reporting live in Terre Haute, I'm News 10's Dominic Miranda. Rondrell, back to you.
Those bells you can hear are still ringing from the protesters at this time. The time right now, 6:02 Eastern. Lezmond Mitchell was scheduled for execution at 6 o'clock tonight. Once we get confirmation, we will report that. News 10 Sarah Lehman is a live media witness in the execution chamber right now. We're going to check in with you a little bit later in this newscast, but for right now, reporting live in Terre Haute, Rondrell Moore. Patrice, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Rondrell and Dominic.